Welcome into the Sun Belt Syndicate. Hopefully everyone's got their glass ready. Oh, yes. I love the clinking. We are having a nice bourbon and baseball episode here tonight. Seth's going to have some water.
Got to wake up early, fellas.
There you go. Taking it a little easy. But first of all, before we get started, behind me here, as always, brought to you by collegefootballdogs.com, part of Dog TV, a soon-to-be coming to the website 24/7 network of podcasts and TV shows brought to you, again, by the website, and we're going to keep expanding. Obviously, this is the baseball coverage, even though we've got the College Football Dogs website also doing pro football. Some of you may be jumping over from Pro Football Dogs right now, so welcome to the show. We're going to switch lanes a little bit, like we said, talk some baseball and certainly some bourbon. Our sponsor down below, W Energy SB Syndicate at checkout. If you need a little energy after tomorrow's little baseball and drinking session, right, fellas?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, right off the top, if you can see, and then for the audio version, if you could hear this, we have a special guest tonight. Chad Dickens makes it 2 Dickens on the show, which is better than 2 Johnsons, right?
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
That's towing that PG-13 line, right? I mean, come on.
I'm not touching that with a 10.
Well played.
I'm keeping it PG.
Oh, man. Well, Chad, tell the people about yourself a little bit. Obviously a big Southern Miss fan, and, unfortunately we did pull you away from the game a little bit tonight.
It's okay.
Go ahead and just introduce yourself for us real quick.
First off, thank you guys for having me. Thankful to be here. Glad to be asked to join on and everything. Long-time Southern Miss fan, Lord, I guess since I remember my first football game in 1977. So I was, 7 years old. So for the last 46 years, been a Southern fan. Got a younger brother out in Colorado, same way. Dad went to Southern Miss, graduated there in 1966. Raised here in Jackson, Mississippi till about 29. Went on a few adventures between Nevada and spent the last 13 years in Florida. Finally retired from my job with public supermarkets in February and said, I'm done with you guys. And now try to find something else to do. And trying to drink my way through all this bourbon I've collected through the years.
All right. I think it was you who shared the picture the other day of a bottle of Willet. Is that how you pronounce that? Willet?
Willet. Yeah, Willet. It wasn't me.
Okay.
But yeah, Willet. I've shared a few pictures of the Willet before. It was the pot still, I think it was. That one wasn't me.
Okay.
But the Willet, it's pretty good.
Nice.
Tonight I'm sipping on a little Buffalo Trace, the Traveler bottle edition from with Chris Stapleton that they did. So I'm sipping on that tonight, and nice. I've got to go easy with it because it'll sneak up on you real quick.
And it's funny. So somebody posted down there earlier, like, what's your favorite go-to everyday bourbon? Mine would definitely be Buffalo Trace, but here in North Carolina, it's a limited distributorship. Like, to find a bottle of Buffalo Trace in an ABC store here is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
So where I find it, that's what I order because you just can't get it. So it's like a novelty.
Yeah. But Florida was the same way when I was down there. We would get, we got it once a month. We'd get maybe a case of 750s, 2 cases, a couple of half-gallon bottles, and that was it. And when it's gone, it's gone. You know. But
that's a big difference because down there you have it in grocery stores to purchase, correct?
In a way. I mean, our liquor store, like with Publix, our liquor stores are attached to the grocery store. Two separate entrances and everything. It's out one door and into another one.
Okay.
But when you have your independent liquor stores and all that stuff. We get several. You get the hunters for sure, and you can spot them a mile away. They'll walk in, look at your little cabinet and top shelf, and You got any Blantons? No. You got any Weller? No. Okay. Out the door they go. See ya. You know, but I mean,
man.
You gotta love them. Gotta love them.
Oh, yeah. We've got our resident Texas State fan, Artie Cat, joining us via YouTube tonight. What's up, Artie? Thanks for joining us. Hopefully,
what's up, Art?
He's got a little beverage in his hand.
Man.
Yeah.
Congrats on the series win, Artie Cat.
Yeah. I was waiting for some kind of smart remark from him about that one. But you know what? I mean, besides one game, a little closer. We'll get into that here in just a second. So, again, tonight we're calling baseball and bourbon. Pretty simple. That's what the two things are. And obviously our special guest, Chad Dickens, as we get rolling here. And we're going to jump right into the first pairing. Throughout the night, we're going to stop the scores and the baseball talk to talk about some pairings with some bourbons here. And I took the liberty of doing this myself. So these guys really don't know
All
these.
right. Okay.
But I'm gonna try and explain myself, and then you guys go tell me I'm right, wrong, or you've got just a different one that makes a lot more sense. So I started off with the Cajuns. This one is just a mail it in. I didn't have like anything that really drew me to this one specifically, but Louisiana starts with an L. Larceny starts with an L. So I just paired these two together. I don't know. It just made sense to me. It kind of was one of the first ones I did, to be honest. So unfortunately, there's not a deep dive into the pairing here. But what do you think about that?
Excuse me. I like it.
I'll go with it.
Don't know much about bourbon.
Well, we'll educate you tonight. It's good
All right.
for you.
Yeah.
It makes the beard a little fuller and thicker. It'll definitely add the grace to it for sure.
It's very true. Okay, so this next one is a little bit more of a thought process. But for those of you that are football fans, you will hopefully or maybe remember that Chad Stagg, or Staggs, I think he has an S at the end of his name technically, was the defensive coordinator for the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. He's now moved over to Georgia State, so that's I could have put it over there. But anyway, that is my connection to this one. I decided to give Stagg to Coastal because they had him first. And, obviously they've got the better baseball team. So I'm giving this cool one to Coastal as they kind of head up the conference as of now. Although, as Chad well knows, Southern Miss is right on their tail about trying to get up there into the rankings and play their way into some respect as well.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I was talking to Jason Baker earlier today. He does the play-by-play for ESPN Plus for Southern Miss. And he and I were on the phone today earlier talking, and we talked about the beach chickens. And I told him that I really foresee them being the Sun Belt regular season champion. I really do. They are tough.
Good.
Yeah, they're real good. There's that big long ball hitter that hit 2 grannies last weekend.
Oh, God. Last name starts with a B.
Yeah, him.
I've got it written down somewhere. Barthel.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Why anybody wants to pitch to him right now is beyond me. I'm sorry. If he comes up, no, here's the 4, take him on down, send him on to first base. I'll pitch around him all day long. He has got the hot bat right now and can hit it a ton and hit it a mile. So, and
our everyday Eagle from our last episode, Chuck, is chiming in here. COVID Carolina. I think you guys and Louisiana both like to call them that. So
yeah. I just did it just for the heck of it. But no, I have a lot of respect for Coastal football, baseball, golf. They're just. I'm going to catch it for my Southern Miss guys, but sorry, boys, I'm calling it like it is. It's a good quality program, and they're putting it up right now. So I have them. Tip of the cap to them. They're getting it done.
Tip of the antlers, since they've got the Stag bottle. We'll go with that.
We'll do that.
No, up next, I got Old Dominion paired with Elijah Craig. I don't know. It's kind of like Elijah Craig is up there as far as bourbons are concerned, at least for me. A kind of a royal thing with the Old Dominion there. I also just thought that if there's a kid named Elijah Craig who's going to a college in the Sun Belt, to me just kind of fit right in there at ODU. I don't know why that just made sense to me, but again, some of these are a little bit of a stretch. You can come with us with whatever you think your opinion is. Nothing's wrong here. I just tried to have some fun with the bourbon aspect of what we're going through tonight. Could you guys see a kid named Elijah Craig going to ODU or another school in the Sun Belt? I don't know.
James Madison.
Georgia State.
There you go. Georgia State.
Elijah Craig. He wouldn't be Arkansas State. He wouldn't be Texas State. I could see him at JMU or at Old Dominion. One of those two. Yeah, it would fit.
Yeah,
I can see it.
I like it. Chuck is agreeing with you that Coastal is a great team. Can't wait to play them at the Pete. So, yeah,
I was wondering, does Coastal go to Southern Miss this year?
Don't make me lie to you. I look at the schedule, but I think they do.
That's what Chuck just said. I was wondering about that.
I think they do come to the Pete, and if I can snag a ticket, I'll be there. That's going to be, I think, if Southern can get hot and stay hot, that'll be I think that 3-game series will be, I'm not going to say make it or break it for Southern, but I think that'll be the one that if we can take 2 out of 3 from them, I think we'll be in good shape.
They get to come to
first weekend in May.
They get to come to Boone this weekend, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully the weather holds out and we can actually play some baseball games.
That'd be good. That'd be a good one to watch.
That and the parking.
Yeah, y'all
Seth's arguing the fact that they're charging for parking at App State baseball for the first time ever this year.
Holy cow!
There's a lot of firsts going on this year. Hey, first win at Texas State.
First win at Texas State. Yeah.
Cheers, boys.
It's true. It's true. So, yeah, Chuck made mention of it too. May 3rd through 5th is when they travel down there to the Pete. If you are a baseball fan, doesn't matter Sun Belt or otherwise, don't miss that series. I'm telling you right now, that's going to be must-see television. Hopefully, I mean, I don't really know. Have they really elevated baseball games to ESPN or ESPN2 much? I mean, I don't think I've really seen that. I don't know. I just
not
much.
to the regionals, I don't think.
Yeah,
Okay.
not to the regionals and supers. Will it get elevated to the big boy network?
that's a shame right there.
Oh, for sure. That weekend will be a great weekend for baseball.
Yeah.
But the best team win. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry I keep covering you up here, Chad, with the comments, but Fun Belt Podcast, love those guys too. Chance pair best with Wild Turkey.
Ooh,
I think I do have somebody for Wild Turkey, but it's not the Chance, obviously. But I do have that one.
I can see
what with South Alabama, excuse me, I'm going off the top with Southern Miss almost, but South Alabama's the last one on this page. I've got 4 roses. I've got a couple reasons for that. They're somewhat close to the Camellia Bowl, which a couple of our teams have obviously played in. Kind of had me thinking like flower, like what kind of school kind of pairs with like any kind of flower or rose. But also you can make a stretch and say, they are the original home of Mardi Gras, as much as New Orleans would hate to hear that. So I thought, there's that colorful aspect with some flowers, whatever. Again, maybe a little bit of a stretch, but I thought maybe the flower one made the most sense with South Alabama. What do you guys think on that one?
I can see it. I like it.
I like it. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right.
Nice job, though.
There's our first 4 pairings. We'll have 2 more pairings of 4, and then we get down to the last 2. But just to touch real quick, I don't want to spend too much time because we want to get to the bigger stuff that just happened. But to round out a little bit from last week and some of the midweeks, anything that sticks out to you guys on these scores here? I mean, I know we had a pretty – I don't know. It's hard to say. The overall record for the day on last Tuesday wasn't the greatest, but we had some big wins, I guess.
I mean, Sunbelt teams taking down 2 top 15 teams. You got Coastal beating Wake Forest. That's just shows how good Coastal is. Southern Miss takes down Alabama, and then South Alabama takes down an SEC school. I mean, I think it's a pretty solid Tuesday for the Sunbelt.
Yeah,
sure. I know. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I just wish a couple of them were a little bit better. I mean, you got Georgia State right there with a ranked South Carolina team. They only lose by 1 run. You've got Ole Miss only beating ULM by 2, and they lose that one 5-3. I mean, just those 2 scores switching, and like I feel totally different. But I mean, again, the top teams beat some other really good teams as well, so that's great to see because that shows the strength of the Sun Belt overall. But go ahead, Chad.
No, I was going to say for sure. Hattiesburg American, the local paper down there in Hattiesburg, called this upset. One of the headlines there for Southern beating Alabama, and it not rifled the feathers of a few of the local fans. But I'm sorry, Alabama was 14 in the country at the time. We weren't ranked. Yeah, it's an upset, no matter how you put it. It's an upset. But at the same time, coming to Pete Taylor Park, it's a tough place to play. It's a very small stadium. Maybe a little over 5,000 standing room. We can squeeze in 6. So it gets loud, and the fans down there at Pete Taylor, they'll let you know you're right on top of you. So it gets loud down there. So I definitely think with the Alabama game, there's definitely an upset. Anytime Mississippi State gets beat, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna get hit by a family member here in a minute, but it's worth it. But yeah, I think it's great to see the Sun Belt teams doing as well as they did on these midweek games. So yeah,
absolutely. And then we had also Wednesday. And Seth, anything kind of stick out to you in these? It's obviously a lot smaller of a slate on Wednesday night, but
I was can you go back to the last slide real fast?
Oh yeah. Some specific on
I'm
this
lagging
one?
a little bit behind here, I believe. Yeah, I was looking more like the coastal Wake Forest game. I think Wake set a record in that game. I text you guys. I think they had a record most batters hit in a game. I think they had 10. It was either 8 or 10, but the wheels really came off for Wake in that game. It really shows, I think, what kind of team Coastal is as well. And, like Chad was saying, is it even Southern Miss, do you really even call that an upset? I guess you do, but you kind of expect that from a team like that. I think overall Tuesday was just a great day for the Sun Belt, looking at all these scores.
Yeah, not too bad. And unfortunately, Marshall goes down to West Virginia, but upcoming this week they go head-to-head once more. And they gave them a hard time last season when they didn't even have a great year. Marshall, as we'll talk with Chad here very shortly, looking a lot better this year so far. But also, before we talk about this one too, we got Yo Boy Cars, our resident Cajun fan, jumping in. This Cajun game, tough to watch in a good way, though. Obviously, we're not watching most of the games live at this very moment, but we'll be checking in on that one. They did take down their arch nemesis, most hated rival, La Tech. I know, Southern Miss has no love lost for La Tech as well. Is that right there?
Hey, listen, La Tech's a good baseball team. That's a solid win.
They are. But it's fun when the Sun Belt can beat up on them because
for sure.
They like to have thought that they were better than the Sun Belt and probably look down upon it still, which is kind of crazy to me with where they're sitting at currently. But hey, to each their own. We'll just continue pounding them down in sports as much as we can. Unfortunately, Memphis always goes against Arkansas State in most sports. Really, they're very regional rivals, and they scored a lot of runs there in Arkansas State. Well, Arkansas State was the one that started off the season like 8-0, right, guys? Is that what they got to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, come back to reality.
JMU is a hard team to put your finger on right now.
Yeah. Played tough with Coastal this past weekend, but then lost that one to Niagara, who, I'll be honest, I didn't even know they had a baseball program up north. Sorry. Didn't know that. I didn't recognize the logo when I saw it. Obviously, I saw the name associated, but logo alone, I had no clue who that was.
Works for me.
All right. So that was the midweek stuff. We got one more comment from Chuck here. Southern Miss leading Ole Miss 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th. So thank you very much, Chuck. Are you?
Thanks, sir.
Hey,
I guess he's probably not at the game.
South Alabama's got Auburn down 1-0 in the bottom of the 7th.
Ooh,
nice, very nice. We'll take that win, man. Ooh.
I'm assuming Miss has got to be receiving votes at this point, aren't they?
We are. I think I saw one of the polls released today. I think it was D1, and we're 24-25 on one of the polls. So yeah, we're getting the love. It just takes us a little bit to get going. Just for some historical crazy reason, our bats don't get hot until right about now when we're getting into conference play. And so that we've always had good quality pitching, so that's never been a big worry for us. It's mostly been the bats. A lot of people. I'm not going to chime in with an opinion because everybody's got one, but everybody's calling. Yeah,
everybody. We need to have you guys back, and we need to find somebody from Coastal the weekend of the Southern Miss.
A little head-to-head.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Oh, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
be glad to do it.
Hurry up and get out of Ruston.
Excuse me.
Oh man, it's a good thing we don't have to pair La Tech with a bourbon because I wouldn't give them a good one.
No, they would get. Let's see, La Tech for a bourbon. I would probably give them. I wouldn't give them Benchmark because Benchmark's actually really good. I would probably give them something from the bottom shelf. I'll probably give them the maybe a Canadian Club.
Okay, yeah.
Give me a little sweet blend. Maybe. I'm going to Hades for that one probably. I told you I'm gonna keep it PG. I'll probably give them Canadian Club or maybe Seagram 7. No, yeah, okay. Seagram 7 for La Tech.
For the 7 losses, we're going to hand them across the sports plane this year.
Sounds good to me. Excuse me, sorry.
Don't be shocked to see Marshall make some ripples. They have good arms. 26 on D1, 25 on Baseball America and PG. So, I mean, Marshall stepped there. That brand new stadium has got to bring in some recruits that they were probably missing out on before they brought that around. But that's definitely right there going to improve the recruits and the type of players that they can bring in. Not only that, you're going against one of the better conferences in all of baseball too. So a good place to be housed. Jumping into a feature that we've talked about for a few weeks, we finally put into action thanks to Marv this week. So Marv, let us know about the players of the week in the Sun Belt.
So Sun Belt pitcher of the week was Bryce Belvin. And Chad, you'll know about this. The second game of y'all series was an absolute pitcher's duel. And we'll get into that in a second. But Bryce goes 9 innings in the 13-inning game, gives up 1 run, only 2 hits, walks 2, strikes 4, and had a no-hitter going through 7 1/3. Kind of what last commenter was saying. Like they've got an arm right there. That dude, that's a solid day. But when we get to the Southern Miss series, you'll see that he kind of got matched. Either one of those guys could have got pitcher of the week. Then offensively, Dylan Pena from Texas State, guy had a hot week, 8 for 18. 9 RBIs over the weekend, hit 3 home runs against App in the 3rd game, and hit 2 home runs in the 3rd inning. The first time in Texas State history anyone has ever hit 2 home runs.
8th inning.
8th inning?
Excuse me.
8th inning.
Was it the 8th inning? Okay.
That was the 17-7 game.
Yeah, 2 home runs.
That was the 17-7.
Have yourself a day, kid.
Yeah, Artie's chiming in. Pena had an amazing weekend. Yeah, I think Artie said – I know he said he was going to the series opener, I think, at least that. But he may have gone to every game, and Artie can let us know if he made it out. A lot closer of a series than a lot of people probably thought going in. I don't know if weather was a little bit of an evening factor there across the board or what. Obviously, they got that one game you just spoke about. That was kind of a blowout. I think that's the next thing we're going to get into. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and jump right into that. Texas State takes that series 2-1 over App State. As you guys mentioned, I think it was Seth at the top of the show, App State does get their first ever victory down in Slam Marcos, as they like to call it during baseball season. So, there's the scores there over on the side, 3-2, 17-7, and 3-2 again. So 2 close results. I think App State's got to be – obviously you're not happy with a loss, but that is a very respectable decision for a lot of people going in thinking that Texas State could be back on a roll and take them in a 3-game set pretty easily. Yeah,
that series could have easily went 2-1 the other way, or it could have easily been a sweat by App or Texas State. It was a pretty even series. We were talking Saturday. Wasn't that game? Didn't App go up early in that game?
Yeah,
in Texas State.
Yeah, they went. Well, the first game, who was it? Austin Eaton and Bradley Wilson were having a pitcher's duel, and App gets on the board 1-0 in the 7th. Texas State comes back and puts 3 up in the 8th. App gets 1 back in the 9th and then has runners on first and second with 2 outs. Just couldn't get it. And then, App got up 4-0, I want to say, in the next game. And then they put up 8 in the bottom of the 3rd. And then, third game, did the third game have a long weather delay?
Yes. So Artie did chime in.
Yeah, they didn't get started back until
2 of 3. Yeah, weather delays. Mm-hmm. And just a quick live score update. Thanks to Robert Bennett. He's commenting on Facebook saying Coastal just lost 9-8 to NC State. That game in Raleigh. So it's not a Coastal home game. So obviously playing to the advantage of State there a little bit. Also a ranked NC State baseball team. So not ashamed to lose that one, but obviously one, Coastal would have really loved to have back. Is what Marv, you said that live update right before we went live. It was 8-8. It was the bottom of the 8th or something.
8-8 in the bottom of the 8th. NC State it almost went out of the park, but they had a runner on second. They had a double off the wall. Then Coastal got their first batter on in the bottom of the 9th and couldn't do anything with it.
Man, tough, except for USM and a couple other teams playing towards the top of the conference that aren't too unhappy with that result. I guess actually in the conference standings, it's not going to help you, but.
Yeah, man, you look at a Coastal going on the road to NC State and playing like that on a midweek with your midweek arms, and you're like, man, that's once again good ball club.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Who?
Absolutely.
While we're talking about Coastal, what big wins do they? I mean, don't get me wrong. Top two baseball teams in the conference, but what impressive wins does Coastal have so far? Did not beat Duke, correct? Did not beat State. Who are the top wins?
They beat Wake.
They did beat Wake.
Wake's middle of the pack, fellas. I'm not arguing it by any means. I'm just curious. They did beat Wake, yes.
I think actually it's a fair argument. I was kind of wondering a little bit about that to myself earlier. I didn't dive into all the past history.
They played Duke very close, and I think Duke is a team that can make it to Omaha this year. So to only lose by 2 runs.
You're right. And it's not fair to Duke handled Wake too. So yeah, you can't discredit that by any means.
They did beat a ranked Campbell team 9-2 as well.
Okay, you're right.
So that's one that's going to play into them. They swept Michigan. I'm not sure Michigan's all that amazing, but
that great.
It's a name. That's probably going to get them some points there, even though that one was at home.
Did they lose to Indiana?
They did lose to Indiana.
Yeah. 7-2. And then 3-5 to Duke.
Yep.
So
okay.
Neither one bad losses. The only thing that you could say maybe is those both home games.
That was the first weekend of the season. I'm going to give that a pat. Up until tonight, those were their only 2 losses of the season.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, no, they had the James Madison loss this past weekend.
That's right.
Which surprised me, but I mean, now we may know JMU. I don't know. Seth has said it may be hard to predict where they're at, but maybe we're seeing a little bit more consistency that leads us to believe they can continue to kind of beat some of these other programs. So a quick look about what's up next for both teams. Obviously, this is a little bit different layout than what we've had now that we're into the conference slate. So We just had App State going up against Queens College. For those that don't recognize the logo there, that's a Charlotte area school here in North Carolina. They beat them down pretty easily today. You guys were able to watch most of that live. I was not, trying to put some of this stuff last minute together, take care of the stuff at home that need to be done before going live tonight. But they win that one easily, 15-5. We've got Texas State matching up with a good UTSA team.
I guess we'll give an update on that game real quick. If you just want to talk about something super crazy. So UTSA puts 4 up in the top half of the first. Texas State comes back and puts 9 up in the bottom of the first. UTSA comes right back and puts 4 more up in the top of the second. That score of that game right now, 14-9 in the middle of the court.
Wow.
Texas State's got the advantage.
That's like
Umpires got to love that kind of game.
Yeah, that's like a final score.
Yeah, that's So the hot bats they had against us on Saturday have kind of continued over to today.
Yeah, absolutely. Artie, I just got to the comment. He had actually put it up right before you started talking, Marv. But Texas State leading the Deadbirds now. The Battle of I-35, I think, is what they call that game. So kind of a cool name there. Bobcats had some good pitching when they needed this last weekend as well. And 14-8. So he's giving us the score there. And we've got Chad's buddy, 16-ounce lounge, saying, "I'm here, damn it."
That horrible drinking beer, son of a I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. If you've got to put fruit in your beer to make it taste good, it's not a good beer. I'm sorry.
Cover your ears, Marv.
And he drinks Miller Lite, so
he puts fruit in Miller Lite.
He drinks Miller Lite, that's just. Sorry, Lord. Then he drinks the Blue Moon. So you got to put the orange slice into the Blue Moon to make it taste good. And then he puts mayonnaise on his hot dogs.
Oh, come on.
I can't knock that. My dad taught me that trick. As long as it's Duke's mayonnaise, I'm okay with it. No free ads.
No, all you need is ketchup.
Sponsorship.
Just a little Heinz ketchup. You're good to go. Don't need mustard, mayonnaise. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, since we're on the topic of hot dogs, have you heard about what they're doing at Campbell at Bowie's Creek? That's where Campbell's located. They got this thing called the Creek Dog, and it is loaded with stuff. I gotta get to a game because I gotta try. Obviously, Campbell being a good baseball team also, but I want to try this hot dog called the Creek Dog. Apparently, no one who's had it has disliked it. So, just for those of you that are just a connoisseur of concession stand food, that one seems like a great option down there. Okay, here we go. TJ's jumping in the show. Mayo on hot dog is insane. I'm thinking he's saying it in a bad way.
Are we talking in a good way or a bad way?
Okay, and listen. Unless, of course, you slather the bun and then grill it first.
I can get down with that.
Yeah, I can mess with that.
Like a good grilled cheese. I mean,
pray for you, TJ.
Better with mayonnaise. So,
hey, if you like slaw on a hot dog, slaw's mayonnaise based, so you're pretty much having a mayonnaise on a hot dog anyway. So there you go.
I did not know slaw was. Oh yeah, I'm thinking. I know you said slaw. I was thinking relish. That was.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with a little slaw on the hot dog. But which one are you drinking tonight? No.
I've got some Woodenville.
Ooh, that's.
I am wearing a beer T-shirt though, but it's a cool one.
Yeah.
Backyard Bastard. It's a brewery. I think it's Founders up in Michigan.
Oh wow!
When I saw the T-shirt, it reminded me of App State's Yosef. It's a cool name, cool graphic. So I had to get the T-shirt. I don't even think I had the beer, but anyway, actually, I think it was a sandwich name. I don't even think it was a beer name, but it was from a brewery, I guess. Already saying illegal on the. I think that's the mayonnaise comment.
Hot dog, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, somebody. Oh please! Oh, come on, 16. Come on, son. Come on, Cletus. Come on. I'll allow a little slaw on the dog. I'll allow that. I'm okay with that.
Slaw on a hot dog is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So that'll be allowed. Mustard and mayonnaise. Yeah, no. I mean, I guess I'm just a basic white guy. I mean, I just want ketchup. I'm sorry, just give me the ketchup. That's all I need. Ketchup, maybe a little cheese. We'll call it. Now, if it's a sausage dog,
You got to go with sausage dog. You got to go with it.
Yeah, I'll allow leeway with the condiments for a sausage dog. But if we're talking just a regular ballpark Frank hot dog, just ketchup and go.
All right. So after the midweek stuff, just jump back into the baseball to get going back into that. App State does face number 16. They'll still be number 16 even though they did lose tonight when they come up the mountain to Boone to play. So we'll see how that series goes there. And then Texas State matches up with what seems like a feisty James Madison squad. So obviously not easy matchups for either team as they get further into conference play in the second week here. Any thoughts on those matchups,
That'll be an interesting series.
Texas State's got to go.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to both of them because I think this could tell us where Texas State and JMU fall in the conference. Yeah. I don't think on the national scene this is necessarily going to tell us a lot about these two teams, but at least as far as the conference goes, we could kind of see where that's sitting. TJ says, I'm a Carolina guy, so slaw, chili, onion, and relish all the way. I do have to agree. I'll eat a dog like that any day of the week. 16-ounce lounge is giving you a hard time, Chad, saying, and you drink Bud Light.
Yes, I have. Since I was 17, so do the math. A family member just rolled her eyes at me when I announced how old I was. I started drinking. Yeah. That's going to go over real well later tonight. For me. Yeah.
TJ's bringing up the point as Seth did, like how good is Coastal really? Well, we kind of touched on that. I do think they still have the results to be up there. Maybe not as high as they are ranked. I don't know. Maybe you could argue that. But I think they're still a very quality team. I mean, you can take Wake and beat them. What was it, 17-9 in that game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty decisive. It's not like a one-run game where you got a little lucky. And then Artie says JMU looks okay. I do agree. I don't think you're going to go in there and think you're going to go in sweeping that team by any means, as we just saw with Coastal Carolina, which is obviously not an easy matchup at all. All right, so we're into our second pairing here. So I'm going to start this one off. I'm going to see what you think of this one, Chad. This is your team here. I went with the easy in. There was another one that I threw out there, and I'll have to see which one that was. Is a little bit rarer of a drink, but I matched them up with Eagle Rare. I mean, come on, Golden Eagles, Eagle Rare. It seems like a sophisticated bourbon enough with the namesake really involved. So I went with that. What are you thinking on my pairing there?
I'll allow it. Good choice. And this is an actual true story. Lincoln Road Package Store in Hattiesburg several years ago did a barrel pick of Eagle Rare. And I forget what they called it, but basically every dime that was raised from the state, every dollar from the sale of that Eagle Rare went to Southern Miss. This was done, I think, 8-9 years ago. And a friend of mine, Jerry DeFada, he's director of the Alumni Association, said, I've got some. I'm like, well, you want to share some with me? I'm still waiting for it. So, but no, yeah, I like the Eagle Rare. It's a good little drink. Can't do you wrong.
No. Okay. Well, good. The other one I'll throw out there, and again, I found this on a list of like the top 100 bourbons. So take it for what it is, whether it's something people have heard about or not. But for namesake, I almost went with Buzzards Roost Toasted Rye. Again, Buzzards. I know you guys got some thing you call yourselves the Buzzards or something. Well, you can tell me more about that.
They call us the Mustard Buzzards, because our colors are yellow and black and we're the eagle, and some say it looks like a buzzard, but that's just the Mississippi State and Ole Miss fans doing that. But yeah, I'll allow, with a name like Buzzard, I'll allow that.
Yeah, I thought that was. Yeah. I didn't really realize where the buzzard had come from, so I wasn't sure exactly where, whether that was a term of endearment or not. But obviously,
it's kind of not. But if we're talking bourbon, I'll allow it because it's bourbon and it's turning endearment. So I'm allow it. Bourbon, you're good.
There we go. We've got our resident Troy fan, Captain. He's known as Captain America, chiming in. I like chili and cheese on my wieners. I'm not sure about the wieners comment, but the dog. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
He's saying you follow Southern Miss baseball. Yes, he does. He follows it quite closely. So yeah. And look, we had.
Sorry, fellas, I'm lagging pretty hard here.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Jump in and out whenever you need. So you didn't really miss anything, Seth, because we're about to jump into the next one. I want your thoughts on this one first after I go through my reasoning for this pairing. So we've got Georgia Southern pairing with Old Forester. I was kind of struggling. I mean, there's some that have like Creek in the name, and I know they have Eagle Creek there. Thought that was kind of too obvious with what I just did with Southern Miss. So I went with Old Forester because to me, Georgia Southern likes to hold on to those old school traditions, right? They never really wanted to let go of that triple option. They like the old school power I triple option offense type of things for football. So I went with Old Forester. Again, I know, Seth, you're not the biggest bourbon guy, but what do you think of the reasoning for the pairing at the very least? If he can hear me.
I missed a little bit of that. Go over it one more time for me.
just say yes, you allow it.
Just say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you.
There you go. I mean, I know Seth's kind of an old school fan. He I don't know if he ever really liked Georgia Southern, but he definitely appreciated the offense they used to run because that's what he ran in high school.
I agree with that.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. So that's the main point I was getting at. So Captain America saying he used to play with Brian Dozier.
Brian Dozier.
Okay.
Oh, you play with Dozier. Oh, lucky son of a. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dozier was a hell of a player down at Southern Miss back in the day. Played 13, 14, 15 years in the show. Won the World Series. If I'm not mistaken, with the Nationals, I think he was with. Then he ended his career. It's either traded him to the Dodgers or vice versa. But yeah, Dozier was a hell of a player down at Southern. Still lives in the Hattiesburg area. You'll find him either out in the right field roost at home games, and he's still very active with the baseball team down at Southern. So Dozier's one of those guys. No, Dozier. Oh, wow. That's way back in the day, back during high school then.
Mississippi Stars, he says.
Yeah,
I did not recognize that one.
Yeah, it must have been travel ball during the high school days. But, Dozier, he's, just as class act can be.
Nice.
He's a good guy.
Very nice. All right, up next, we've got James Madison. This is once again something – I don't know. I mean, James Madison is up in the Blue Ridge Mountains, so they've got creeks running by. So I again, Knob Creek. I mean, I think it's a good bourbon. I think James Madison is good athletically. I don't know. Again, maybe a little bit of a stretch there for the reasoning, but what are your thoughts on Knob Creek for James Madison so far?
I like it. You got to throw a bottle of moonshine up there for them too, and you've been just fine. I mean, let's be honest.
I told Dominic before the show he was going through the slides. I said, buddy, you should just had a mason jar with clear liquid in it right there beside App State.
Yeah, that's what you should put a little mason jar there, and that's that high quality Appalachian mountain water.
There you go.
Or Appalachian, sorry, however y'all. Yeah,
I know
Appalachian. You had it right the first time.
Okay. The first way was correct.
Okay.
Yep. I'm sure he heard a lot of that when he was up in Boone for the football game this past fall. That's where Chad and I met, by the way. For people wondering,
at the music hall. Yeah, and
right in front.
I tell you what, you guys put on one hell of a tailgate up there. They opened us. They welcomed us open arms. Hey, you want a drink? You want food? If you go hungry, it's your own dang fault. We couldn't have had a better time tailgating with all those guys, and hopefully when app comes down to Hattiesburg, we can return the favor for everybody because, man, just outstanding time up there. I wish the outcome of the ball game would have been different, but we had an Airbnb on the top of the mountain, and
little fun fact: the thumbnail photo of you for this show was taken at that Airbnb. Yeah.
Yes, it was. That was. I think I took that.
TJ's
Marty pants. I think I took that Friday night before we went out. We all got in on Friday, so I think I took that on Friday before we were heading back to Boone to go find something for dinner and drinks, and ended up some hotel lounge bar. Can't remember the name of it.
Downtown.
It was downtown. It was a rooftop bar.
Yep. There's only one that I know of. The Horton Hotel.
Yep. They had that rooftop bar. Then that was it. We ended up had a few drinks there, and I'd say that was an all right, little swanky for me, but I'm just a redneck from Mississippi. But that was a really nice place, and we ended up another dive bar down the street from it with some other people. But we couldn't have had a better time up there in Boone.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd definitely go back.
Nice. So TJ says, I like me some Knob, but they seem more like a moonshine town. Yeah, I think that fits both App and James Madison from what I've experienced. We'll get into Artie's question, too, before we get into the App choice. What's the worst whiskey you've had? Mine is some we got in Iraq in 2003, and it was definitely not aged. Oh, man. Yeah. I'll go quickly. Anything out of a plastic bottle is probably the worst of anything you've ever had. And I don't even you probably even have a name for you because I don't even know if I remember it. But yeah, any plastic bottle is probably just, now that you're not in college, just stay the hell away from it.
Yeah.
Evan Williams Green Label. Ugh.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. We had one. And it's from South Carolina. I'm not going to say the name of it, but it's another word for a chicken or a rooster. Was the name of it. And I got it. I was like, all right, it's like $25. We'll try it. Ooh. That made it better old-fashioned than it did drinking it straight. And when I moved out of my buddy's place I was living with him, I left him that bottle. It was 3/4 full. I said, "Here, I'm leaving you that bottle. You can have it." So I think it was chicken C word. I think there was just the C word. I think it was chicken C word was the name of it, and it was from South Carolina. And PGA golfer that's got his name behind it. And I forget who it is, but yeah, that was some of the worst. Yeah.
Must not have been a very good PGA golfer for that one, but
no, he's top 25.
Okay.
I think. I just forget who it was. He played at South Carolina, or he's from South Carolina. I don't want to say he's top 25, but he's actually a really good golfer. He's just crap tasting bourbon. That's horrible.
That makes sense. Okay, so we are now to the App State one. So first of all, just from the looks of it, for the people that are seeing this visually, you've got the black Block A, you've got a black label. This one is known as Smoke Wagon. So, Appalachian smoke, that kind of fit a little bit. But here's where the wagon fits in. They've got, Wagon Wheel is one of the songs they play inside the football stadium every weekend, and everybody sings it at the top of their lungs. It's just that type of music atmosphere with the bluegrass kind of country vibe-ish there. So Smoke Wagon is what I went with the App State pairing here. I myself have never had Smoke Wagon, but now just from hearing the name and the fact that I paired this one up with my favorite team, I feel like I got to go out and find some Smoke Wagon at this point.
Yeah,
have you guys had
the name?
Yeah.
I've not had it personally, but a lot of my friends, or a lot of my old customers, they've had it, and according to them, it's outstanding, and you can't go wrong with it.
Nice.
So great. Thanks, Tom. That's another bottle I have to go buy. Chad's already 5.5 cases. That they had.
I didn't do you any favors, because as I look at it, because this list was put together with some other information, it's showing me at $79 a bottle. Now that could be, it's saying uncut 180B, so maybe that's a special edition. So maybe a non-special edition is less than that. But hopefully, I didn't run you up at the register there for that one.
Oh no, at $80, I'll buy it.
Okay,
not a problem. I'll buy it.
As long as you're avoiding those plastic containers there, right?
Yes. Yeah, I don't do plastic. Yeah, no. You shouldn't be taking bourbon to the beach anyway. No, that's just a mistake.
Yeah.
So, no.
Captain America's got another question for you. Do you remember Chris Fishburne that played shortstop at Southern Miss?
Ooh, I remember the name, but I don't remember the player. So you got to forget 40-odd years of watching Southern Miss sports. I've probably forgotten more than I can remember, but I do recognize the name. I just don't remember it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's jump back into this. Maybe Yo Boy Cars is still around and let us know the update on the Cajuns game. But they go 2-1 against Arkansas State this past week, dropping the first one 11-8. So Arkansas State looked like they could round back into form. But then the Cajuns win in two closer battles there at the end, 7-6 and then 8-5 on Sunday to round that out. I think that's me on top of that one. Well, I'll just say basically, to keep the show rolling along here, I'm not surprised that Louisiana took the series. With what Arkansas State has bounced back down to earth with, I was kind of surprised maybe that they didn't sweep it.
Excuse me.
This one being in Jonesboro played to the advantage of Arkansas State somewhat in that regard, but some close games too. So that's also a little bit surprising to me, just how close these two teams played. After what I thought was the Cajuns just having a really tough schedule to start the year, and then they'd round into form come conference time. Again, taking the series is not a bad thing, but I don't know. I think if you're looking at your pitching staff and how you expect things to go, you expect to kind of win the first two games, and then that Sunday game is kind of a toss-up if you've already kind of won the series. They were in that situation where they had to win Sunday to win the series, which makes that, I feel like, a lot tougher to do. So I don't know.
Looking at that one, Dom, I think you can go back to the App Texas State series. I watched maybe part of that series, this Arkansas State series. I think it could have been just like the Texas State series for App. It could have been the other way around. Easily, it could have been Arkansas State taking 2 or 3.
I agree.
I think those are two teams that are going to be middle of the pack, and I think there's still a lot to figure out. I think after the first week of conference play, I think you're looking at Coastal and Southern Miss as your top two teams, and we're still trying to figure out a few, mainly App, James Madison, Louisiana. I think there's some middle of the pack teams that after another full weekend of conference next weekend, we might know a little bit more. But I think right now Southern Miss and Coastal is who everybody's going to be chasing right here.
Yeah. No doubt. I had written down a couple notes. So
yeah, go ahead.
First game had 25 total hits. Arkansas State had 3 guys have 3 hits. One dude had 7 RBIs and 2 homers. The other 2 games were close. I mean, UL pulled away late in both of the games. But one thing I kind of noted when I was looking at the box scores, average. Anyone want to guess the average attendance for the 3 games at Arkansas State?
I'm guessing it was good from what I saw.
393 people was the average attendance for a baseball game. Yeah.
How many?
Wow. 393. Get behind your team, folks.
Yeah, that's rough.
In the words of Charles Barkley, that's terrible.
That's terrible.
That's terrible.
I guess what I had seen was the outfield, and there was people out in the outfield. So I was thinking that there was a good amount of people. But, you know, a lot of times with the Sunbelt schools, when you see the cam behind the pitcher, it's so close up, you have no idea what the other stands really look like. So I guess I didn't see enough of the area right behind home plate to know that there was nobody else really there. So, yeah, that is disappointing because I know they were very excited about the start of the season that they had, obviously.
And listen,
Artie Cat's letting us.
I'm still going to say that Arkansas State is a heck of a lot better than what everyone thought they were going to be. They were picked to be the very last team in the conference. They will. I don't think they'll end up there. I mean, they got a decent matchup this weekend with Marshall, who I think will end up being the bottom of the conference this year, or maybe ULM. But I think Arkansas State's a program on the rise.
Yeah, no doubt. Artie Cat's letting us know Louisiana's leading 10-5 in that game right now against Southern, as they also have a game against McNeese following this one. So then they go up this weekend against ODU, Arkansas State, as we're just kind of talking about. They're going up against Southern Illinois. I don't think – is that one – that one's tonight, right? Is that one over? Does anyone know? I'll check on it in a second. Okay. But then, again, as Marv just mentioned, they're going up against Marshall, who doesn't seem to be as easy of a task as they were last year at this point, especially with what they just did down there at Southern Miss. So, it is interesting, though. Do they end up, like Marv said, kind of battling for the bottom? Obviously, at this point, not really battling for the bottom, just battling to avoid getting there early on in the season. But, Marv, what did you find out about that Arkansas State game?
I'm looking it up as we go. Give me a second. I'll get to it on the next.
Artie's got it. Arkansas State leading 8-5 versus Southern Illinois at the top of the 7th. So,
okay,
good outcome there thus far. Jumping into the next series from this past weekend, we had number 18 Coastal Carolina going up against James Madison. One I had picked as a sweep. Unfortunately, I continue to not get any of these things right. They
both got that right.
Yeah, I think you guys both did. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll get to that one at the last part. I told Chad he's going to make my picks this week. I don't think we've picked our series just yet, but Chad, once we do, I'm letting my guest picker, College Game Day, go at it, and Chad's going to make my picks because he's better at it.
Picks, I know
throwing in the hat that early in the season, Dominic.
No, just celebrity shot as a beer pong reference. You're just going to come in and take a week.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I think I picked Marshall last week was my upset, and that's the only series that I lost last week. Everything else I hit,
Yeah.
And I think Ole Miss is up 6-3 now.
Nice. Oh wait, no, Ole Miss is up.
No, yeah,
sorry.
Other way, yeah. Yeah.
Auburn's taking the lead over South Alabama too.
I'm okay with that.
Looking at this one, Dom, I think JMU could have easily took 2 or 3 on this one.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
We were talking. I never got to see the video, but there was an obstruction call in the 13th yesterday. Is that right? That one Coastal
Well, there may have been one in that game. There definitely was a huge one in that Southern Miss Marshall series. So we'll get to that. Yeah, when Chad's there. But there may have been one in the Coastal series. If there was,
that was the game. My bad.
Okay. Right. I was going to say, I didn't hear about it like I heard this other one. So, and saw all kinds of stuff. And I wish I could pull video up on it, but
you're right.
Rather difficult. But anyway, James Madison does take 7-4 in the middle of that one. They went up against Maryland earlier tonight and already lost that game 9-5. Unfortunately, I know Maryland. Everyone, correct me if I'm wrong here. They were a regional team last year, right? Is that what
they were? A regional team,
correct?
Not ranked right now. I did double check that before putting this up, but probably still a pretty good team overall. One that went final after we started the show here. Number 13, NC State takes down now number 16, Coastal Carolina. There in Raleigh. In what was that 9-8 final? Is that what we had heard?
9-8 final.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and now Chanticleers or COVID Carolina will come up the mountain to face App State in Boone this weekend. So, a couple of us here for sure are cheering on App State in that one specifically. And then JMU matches up with Texas State, as already alluded to. Thinking JMU looking pretty good so far, so we'll see if they can keep that rolling against Texas State this weekend. So back to another bourbon pairing. Arkansas State. I had it again, a little bit of an easy reason for this one. Wild Turkey. I've been to Jonesboro once. It's a little country. It's country enough to me that I could see wild turkeys being in the area. It would make sense to me. But also, you've got the red wolves, eating a wild turkey. So again, that's kind of my reasoning. There's nothing real fancy about it, but there you go. Wild turkey. Is it fitting? I don't know. What do you think?
Go for it.
Sounds fine. I mean, I think Jonesboro's dry anyway.
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken, Jonesboro is dry.
Interesting.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's dry.
It wasn't dry when I was there. I'll tell you that.
I could be wrong, but
I know Statesboro is dry. You can buy beer at the gas station, but you can't buy liquor unless you go out of the outskirts.
Hey,
which Alpha did.
That was a school.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. When I first moved to Boone, it was dry as well. You had to go to Blowing Rock to get any of your liquor. So very interesting. Before we get to ULM, Artie's got an update on that one. Says ULM down 7-4 in the bottom of the 7th in that one. So thanks for the updates as we go along here, Artie. Really appreciate that. I paired up ULM with Jack Daniels. Give me a second to explain this one. Jack Daniels, pretty good. A very solid bourbon. I've had it many times, so there's nothing wrong there. But ULM is known as a little bit of an unsafe place to be and to live. So you can get jacked if you go and visit ULM. So I'm giving Jack Daniels for that reason.
Holy crap!
We'll take it.
Yeah,
you got to have some fun with these things, right?
I got nothing.
Texas State, man, they've been coming up in football. Obviously, a pretty strong baseball program. They've been great in basketball in the past. They even went on a little run this season in the postseason tournament. So I've paired them up with Angels Envy, as I believe Angels Envy is based in Texas as well. So that was kind of the reason I did that. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe my guy I used to work with down in Texas was always harking on Angels Envy, and I'm pretty sure it's because it was from a Texas distillery. So that's why I went with that pairing there.
Angels are Kentucky.
Is it? No.
They're Kentucky.
Okay. I was wrong.
Hey,
it's okay. We've been wrong.
I guess you can't technically. Can you even make bourbon anywhere but Kentucky, or is it? What's the whiskey bourbon aspect? I always get this screwed up.
All bourbons can be whiskeys, but not all whiskeys can be bourbons.
Okay.
And it's a huge, long, drawn out.
Gotcha.
Rule and crap. But it's so involved and in depth, and Shane Lott, who's the Wizard of Whiskey from Southern, he might correct me on this, but to be considered a bourbon, it's got to be at least, the mash bill has to be at least 50% corn.
Okay.
That's the main thing. It's got to be 50% corn. There can be nothing added to it, no flavors, no colors. Basically, just your grains, your yeast, and your water. That's it.
Nice.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. If the second you add a flavor to it, like apple for crown apple, or the cinnamon for Fireball, it automatically becomes a whiskey.
Interesting. Okay. That makes sense, though, because there seems to be a lot more whiskey than bourbon, so that would make sense. Okay. Well, so that was more of a personal thing then. So I associated Angels Envy with Texas, so that's why I went with it. So it doesn't make sense on a grand scale, but for me it does. But anyway.
It's tasty.
Yeah, it is. It's a very good one. I've had that one many times as well, and definitely put it up there towards the top. So Marshall's very obvious to me. This one's the most obvious of all of them. You go with Buffalo Trace. It's a quality bourbon. Marshall's got a rich history across their athletics, and obviously with the herd being their mascot, the buffalo kind of being their mascot, that one's just too easy. I don't know if anybody, you guys probably already knew that one as I went along here, that was going to be what was going to come. You could say moonshine for these guys too, really.
Yes. You can go either way.
Yeah, Captain America down in as the Detroit fan saying, he's a moonshine man himself. So yeah,
of course you are.
All right, jumping back into the baseball aspect of the show, we had Georgia Southern. I was surprised by this one. ODU, you weren't?
No, this surprised me big time. I did not see 11-1, 11-1. I mean, Seth texted us today. Georgia Southern scored 3 runs all weekend. I know Old Dominion's got some good pitching, but I did not see that butt whooping coming.
Yeah, four runs because they did win that last one 2-1.
Not at all.
Oh, excuse me, 4 runs. You were correct.
Yeah,
I didn't see that coming. I mean, to get 10-run ruled in 2 consecutive games, wasn't expecting that.
No, not I either.
I was thinking about them and.
Go ahead.
I was thinking about Georgia Southern and James Madison earlier. How those two teams are. We don't know much about either one, but we would be more surprised if James Madison fell down the rankings, and then we'd be more surprised if Georgia Southern pulled through. So I think we're kind of expecting James Madison up here a little bit and Georgia Southern down here. Even though we don't know a whole lot about them yet, at the end of the year I would expect JMU to be way up here. Georgia Southern start falling a little bit. I think we're starting to learn a little bit more about them each week.
I want to pause this for a second. We were talking about play week Pena from Texas State, and Artie Cat, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm watching it. He said 2 grand slams tonight.
What? Wow.
That's what the stat just came up. He's at bat right now. It's at 2 grand slams tonight.
Okay, so we can just keep him on that slide for next week at this point.
Yeah. Picture up there.
Keep him up there. Yeah.
Jeez, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Going back to this one, I had picked – well, I think we all picked Georgia Southern to take this series 2-1. Is that right? So none of us got this one right. I know the Monarchist podcast gave me a hard time about my pick because they didn't have what they thought was respect in that one. And hey, guess what? They came in and earned it. Like you said, 2-run rules in the first 2 games. That's not a good look there for Georgia Southern. And our resident Georgia Southern fan Tim has not shown his face yet. Maybe this is why, but we will see what comes of it this week. Georgia Southern was going up against College of Charleston tonight. Not sure
they did 8-6, and they were down really big early and kind of tried to come back. They were down like 6-1 at one point.
Wow. Okay. And Charleston's not a bad. I mean, that's not a program that you just walk in and win at. So it's not a terrible loss there, but obviously kind of a regional game for them. They definitely don't want to lose that one. Old DU does go in there and beat Richmond 3-2 earlier today. So getting back into the winning ways and keeping that rolling after that last win against Georgia Southern on Sunday. But Georgia Southern's got a real tough test now as they go up against Chad's favorite team in Southern Miss, and ODU, another tough test, probably tougher this week, and they're going to play the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana. So not any easier for either team as they go into the second week of conference play there.
This one is a little surprising.
This is super surprising.
Yes. So Georgia State wins this one 3-0. Was it Seth? Is this the one you've been following, or is this a Marv team here?
Georgia State, I think that's a me team, and I've been talking shit about them all year. Series, I never would have thought that. If it would have been our pick, I would have had 3-0 the other way.
Yeah, me too.
I wasn't impressed with Georgia State coming into this. Get the sweep first game. They scored all 8 of their runs in the 5th and 6th inning, so they kind of blew it open in the middle of the game. South Alabama only had 3 hits that entire game. In the second game, South Alabama was up 7-1 going into the 5th, and Georgia State just blew the game wide open. And then Georgia State hits 3 home runs in the first 5 innings. In the third game, jumps on them 7-0, never lets off the gas. So I'll eat a little bit of crow here. Apologize to the Georgia State baseball fans if there are any of them. And man, good speak.
We may have a bourbon pairing that goes along with something that you just said. So surprise. But at this point, Georgia State tied for the lead in the conference. Who would have had them up there after the first week of action?
Undefeated in conference. Yeah, like I said, against South Alabama, who I think a lot of people probably had in the top half of the conference. So yeah, pretty surprising for them.
Yeah, I will say this: if you go off of last year, this wouldn't be surprising for me. But with what we've seen so far this year, that's what I'm surprised. I keep harking on this. South Alabama ended the season with like 10 or 14 game losing streak. So, they had a lot of respect coming in from the coaches poll before the season started, and they're now showing it, or they were showing it before this series. And then, wheels fell off here somehow, but we'll see. The midweek game, is that Auburn game gone final? Do you know, Marv?
Let me double check on that.
Okay. While you check that, they were going up against number 18 Auburn. So we'll see what ended up transpiring in that one. Georgia State does not keep the win streak going, playing against crosstown nemesis. I wouldn't really call them a rival, but they went up against Georgia Tech earlier today and lost that game 6-4, and they will match up with the Warhawks from ULM later this weekend. What do we see in that one, Marv, with the Auburn game?
2-1 final Auburn.
Oh,
yeah,
close.
Shoot.
Close, but no cigar. Chad's only so disappointed in that result.
Yeah, I'm so hurt. Just crushed.
Oh, man. And then South Alabama will match up with Troy this weekend. And I believe after this, we've got our last pairing of bourbons, gentlemen.
There we go.
So, Marv, was it you that said Green Label, Evan Williams?
Uh-huh.
Black Label is better than the Green Label. That's for sure. But
okay.
I want to hear your reasoning behind this.
Well, that was pretty much my reasoning. Is this is kind of not bottom of the barrel, obviously, but it's a lot lesser of a bourbon than what we've seen most of the night. So I should have gone with the Green Label. Maybe that would have fitted even better, but I went with the black.
After the sweep, they deserve the Black Label.
Yeah, that's true. We'll step it up to the black. We have given Georgia State the Evan Williams. There's not really any shame in it. It's just there's better bourbons out there, and I don't believe that Georgia State deserves one of the better bourbons at this point in time.
I would give them George. I'd give them the George Dickel 8-year, to be honest. That's one of my go-to every day is George Dickel 8. So I go George Dickel 8 for Georgia State. Yeah,
I can respect that. Definitely can respect that. I'm trying to find my notes here on this last one before it's up at the top. That's why I can't see it, because the name is so tiny on the screen. You're not going to be able to read it. But I've got Troy with a bourbon that I'd never heard of, but I love the name of
E.H. Taylor.
E.H. Taylor Jr. Yeah. So
I recognize that bottle.
Okay. Yeah, I figured somebody would. It wasn't going to be me. But this one's kind of simplistic. Kind of again, you've got the Trojans, right? Like a warrior class. Mm-hmm. You've got a colonel. That was kind of the reasoning behind this one. Nothing else really stuck out to me for the Troy Trojans as far as a bourbon pairing. So I went with this one. I also thought the name's awesome. Bottle looks real nice. So just made sense. They did win the football conference this year. So there you go, Troy. Enjoy your Colonel E.H. Taylor.
That's definitely a pinky up fancy.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Especially because they do a small batch, they do a rye. They've also got a single barrel, and the single barrel, I don't know, running about 100 right now, I guess. It's good. They're out of Buffalo. It's a Buffalo Trace. Besides the right product, it's definitely one of those highly allocated bourbons everybody wants, and it's not one of my favorites. But if somebody offers it, okay, I'm gonna drink it because it's a drink. I'm not gonna turn it down. Let me just read.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely.
But it's not one of those. I've got I don't have a bottle, but you won't find me with one.
Gotcha. Okay, not that type of bourbon for you. Okay, respectable.
Just not that great for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not bad.
It's mediocre.
There you go. All right. So, that'll finish off the bourbon pairing. So if you're listening to this later and you want to let your thoughts be shared, obviously find us on socials and share away with what you guys prefer there. And we'll get back to the baseball as we're going to finish up with Troy and ULM. Troy wins that series 2-1, 7-1, and they lose to ULM 8-4, and then win the final one 6-4 on Sunday. I got both of these two teams. This one's just kind of a weird series to me, right? Like you've got no games that were – I mean, I guess that final game on Sunday, 6-4, maybe, you say that one's pretty close. The other two are just kind of – I mean, you could have said Sunday was going to be a true toss-up with how the first two games in this series went. So, I don't know. I mean, Troy's been pretty good, I think, so far this year. ULM had a winning streak at one point in time that stretched to like 5 or 6 games, though. So, I mean, it makes sense that they didn't get swept here in that regard. But I don't know. I think at least the Troy team here still don't know exactly where they stand as far as conference goes just yet. I think we got to get a little bit deeper, but dangerous. I'd say they're definitely a dangerous team as far as somebody you're not really going to want.
I think right now, Dom, we got 2. I think we probably have like Marv was talking about, we got 2 at the bottom, two for sure at the bottom, 2 for sure at the top. Everybody in the middle is still trying to figure out who they are right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, Seth, 3 more weekends and you'll kind of know exactly where everybody is. Not to say somebody can't get hot and somebody can't get cold, but a lot's going to shake out here the next.
I'm interested to see the series in Boone this weekend. I'm interested to see how that's going to shake out.
Yeah, like I said, with the weather, I see the weather forecast for their I hope they get to play all 3 games.
Yeah.
Well, they got to play them, do they not? Somehow, I would think.
Man, it looks like from what I've seen on the weather, you're talking 1.5 to 2 inches of rain Friday night all the way through Saturday. I don't know.
Sunday might be a doubleheader.
Might be a doubleheader on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday's gonna be beautiful in Boone if you're not at the game. I know you wussied out and didn't go to the game today. First home game. If
you're going to the game this weekend, just make sure you got your cash for parking. That's all I gotta say.
Oh God, we know this one already, but Barty's reminding us Coastal does lose to NC State, as we heard. But let's get into what these teams both have coming up next. We had Troy going up against UAB. I'm not sure if that one's gone final yet. At this point, it's probably.
So I do know that ULM's down 8-4 to Central Arkansas right now.
Okay.
And as far as Troy, let's see.
Well, Troy will end up matching up with South Alabama this weekend after UAB tonight, which, you shaking your head there, Marv? Did they drop this one to UAB?
No, I mean, I'm just sitting there. No, they won 9-8. They won 9-8. Now, I was shaking my head because I'm sitting there thinking, South Alabama, who I thought was a 5th or 6th place team. Like, where's that game play? Where's that series at? All right, so
I think they're at South.
It's a Mobile.
Down in Mobile? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If South gets swept again, like that's not a great way to start the season.
Yeah.
And then looking at the other side, if Georgia State goes to ULM and sweeps them, like,
yeah, that's kind of the funny part of like how this conference is going to shake out. Nothing's easy, and you're going to have some teams that might be towards the top because they've played easier opponents thus far, and let's see if they can withstand it. If you get a good enough run here and you get some confidence in your team, maybe they can keep it going and at least steal 1 or 2 from some teams they shouldn't.
And Georgia State's out this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And I don't know how many of you guys know this. I just found this out recently. Apparently they have plans for a new baseball stadium a la Marshall as well. So that should help the conference and especially Georgia State with recruiting and getting better in baseball as well. So interesting to see. I think that's like 2 or 3 years away, though. I don't think it's around the corner. I'm not sure they've even broken ground, but I know there is a plan and a drawing or maybe even engineered drawings at this point. Not quite sure how far along the process they are, but there is a very good chance that they're going to get a new stadium down there in the Atlanta area for the Panthers of Georgia State. All right. Marshall and USM, we've got a lot to talk about this one, Chad. It was a sweep, but it wasn't a sweep of traditional sense here. So tell us everything you can about what you witnessed in this one.
Well, I'll tell you, what I did miss was a hell of a game on Saturday because apparently I laid down for my little mid-afternoon nap and I woke up at the top of the eighth. So,
you saw the exciting part then.
Well, yeah.
You didn't miss anything.
No, I didn't miss this one, I didn't think we would sweep, maybe 2 out of 3, like we've been doing the whole season. But Marshall is going to be sneaky good. Like I said earlier on this, Marshall is going to be really sneaky good this year. They've got the pitching. They had the pitching staff to do it. They've got some clutch hitters. I think Vogelsong had a really good weekend for Marshall. The pitcher of the week you picked? Blyven.
Bryce Belvin.
Bryce Belvin.
Belvin, yeah. Him, if he can continue like he did on Saturday, I think he'll get your conference pitcher of the year right there. That kid.
He threw 90 pitches in 9 innings.
Yeah.
Nuts. And
he hits.
Oh, for sure. And he kept us guessing. We were chasing bad pitches.
Billy dueled him though. I mean, that was a pitcher's duel. I mean,
for sure.
I didn't see any of it, but I looked at the box score. I'm like, wow, that was If you're into pitching, that was the game to be at.
Oh, for sure. If you love a good old fashioned pitcher's duel, that's the one to see. Billy's been a stud for us for the last couple seasons. He lays it out there 110% every ball game. So I'm a huge fan.
Chad, how did that game end?
Very controversially.
Seth, why'd you ask that question?
Yeah. Very controversially. I'm glad to see us get the win. Don't get me wrong. I hate that it came down to that replay, and even as a Southern fan, in my opinion, I don't think the guy blocked the plate, in the traditional sense. Was his foot just left of the plate? For sure.
Yeah.
But, you look at any catcher whether it be the NCAAs, high school, pony league, whatever it is, all the way up to the major leagues, their foot is always right there.
Yeah.
Always there. Now, and so I hate it for Marshall. I didn't like that. But you got to give the hat tip to Oz. He saw something, and called for the review. Hat tip to Oz for that. But I just hate that it ended it that way because it was such a damn good ball game.
Yeah. Yes, I feel like he was definitely thrown out. Like, I don't think there's any question. The tag definitely did occur before he ever touched the bag. That is the question, right? Like, so I used to officiate soccer. And so that is one of those like letter of the law. Like in the review process, technically his foot is in the way of the runner. Now, that's one of those ones where you feel the game and you say, he didn't have his shin and knee down blocking the plate. Is a foot blocking the plate. So I agree with you in the fact that, like, if you can talk about what makes common sense, you say he's not really blocking the plate. He's standing where like you said, Chad, everybody stands. Now, again, the umpire is protected by the letter of the law. Technically, he got the call right. So I understand the frustration and everything that's coming from the Marshall side, and you obviously understand where USM fans are to say, hey, man, technically he blocked the plate. So it's just one of those things.
it's, I used to referee soccer, so I get it, the letter, the intent, and, I know that was a hard call for that ump to make.
Yeah.
It was. It had, like, oh, crap. Yeah, okay, yeah, no doubt. Lawson was tagged out. There's no question about that. But another thing that I look at that I saw a couple of different replays was at how wide Lawson had made that turn coming off third base.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you look at the replay and you see how far off the line he is, he's already got plans to make that outside sweep with his hand over plate. So, I think he was already had plans of going around the catcher to make the play, So, don't get me wrong. It's great to get the win, great to be 3-0 in conference play. And, the boys fought hard. They fought super hard, because, and I'm not going to say, well, we'll say it, historically, we've not always stepped up to the plate. You look at the last year regionals we've hosted, and, we should have won at least one of them. We definitely should have beat Tennessee, Ole Miss. They got hot at the right time, but for us to go over and against the Ole Miss and Super Regionals, it's a head scratcher. But, it just seems that, and again, it's just my opinion, but I'll probably get roasted by some Southern fans, which, oh, well, that happens,
Yeah.
I'm a grown man. It's just my opinion, It
means they care.
Yeah. It just seems to me that when it comes down to the nitty gritty, and when our back's against the wall, there's times when we historically can't get over that hump. To be like the Ole Misses, the Mississippi States, Oklahoma States, the Stanfords, all these successful programs year in, year out going to Omaha. Yeah. But at the same time, with what Barry did over his career, especially the last, 5-6 years, back to back 40 win seasons, year in, year out for regionals, hosting 2 supers, I think the sky's the limit for us with odds coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a heartbreaker for Marshall to lose. Marshall's going to be sneaky good this year. I think they'll finish maybe top 6.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to go ahead and call it. Yeah, Marshall's going to be sneaky good. They've got the pitching staff. They've got the hitters to do it. It's just a matter of them, okay, let's find the gel. I think I mentioned it before we came on, Vogelsong, he had a great series. Then that cat, Friday, Saturday night through, they've got quality pitching. They really, really do. It's just going to be a matter of getting it all in gel. And I think they will. I really do. I think they'll finish, probably in the middle is what I really think.
Oh, well, we'll see if they can recover. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I hope they do.
You think the same?
I'm just sitting here thinking about do what?
I said, do you think the same?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking about what a grind the baseball season is. I mean, you look at Southern Miss. I mean, it's not a shock to anybody that Marshall got swept, but look at it. They only got outscored by 7 runs.
Yeah.
And they didn't win a game. But App gets run ruled on a Saturday, and they still end up, making it a decent series that, they won 1 out of 3. So, I mean, baseball's just such a grind. Just because you get to run ruled one day there's always tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's such a long season. Just like Chad was saying, just because Marshall got swept right there doesn't mean, they can't turn around next week in Arkansas State and sweep and return the favor. It's Baseball's funny, man. One day, it wouldn't shock me if Coastal got run-rolled one game and then turn around and won by 20 the next game, Baseball is just such a grind. It's all about consistency. It's like golf. You can go shoot 3 under par one day, but, if you can't do it every single day, you're not gonna make much out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big deal.
I'm looking forward to this Marshall Arkansas State series this week, and that's the sneaky good series of the weekend.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. Did we say the Ole Miss Southern game has not gone final yet, Chad? Is that correct?
Last I saw or heard, it was I think it was 5-3 Ole Miss.
Okay.
So it's getting probably 7th or 8th inning now.
I'll give you the score. I've got
top of it. I think.
Hey, the final. So I have it pulled up, and it has Southern Miss and JMU. That doesn't sound right.
No, not at all.
It doesn't sound right at all.
Yeah,
a midweek conference game. All right, I like it.
Yeah, that's new. It's like a Tuesday night Sunbelt football game, right?
There we go. Yeah, I know we're in football season already. I think it was 5-3, top of the ninth. So Ole Miss came back, put up a couple runs, but sorry, but then informed it's 6-3.
Wrap this up.
6-3. Oh, it's I got end of 8-3 on Twitter.
Oh,
yep. A 2-run home run that extends the lead as we head to the 9th. That's what Southern Miss baseball account has tweeted out. So
yeah, I'm not going to repeat that because I don't want anything thrown on my head right now. So move. I'm glad I didn't go to that ball game tonight.
Yeah. So Marshall has West Virginia for the second time in 2 weeks. We'll see if they can get the better of that one because they didn't beat them the first time around. Hopefully Southern Miss has some magic up their sleeves and they can turn around against Ole Miss here right now. If not, well, regardless of what they do, they play Georgia Southern this weekend, which I don't know. What we thought was a dangerous Georgia Southern team may not be so dangerous, but they're not going to want to. They're not going to want to lose no matter what, and Southern Miss is obviously going to be a little perturbed if they drop this one to Ole Miss there as the in-state game. But Marshall matches up, like you guys said, with Arkansas State. So that leaves us with just one thing left to do, which is look at the worst prediction record in all of college baseball.
Shocker.
Wow.
It's
bad. But
you're allowed to pick them this week. That's no big deal.
Yeah, I can't catch you. So at this point, you have to have a couple of perfect weeks.
You can get hot, man. You can get hot down the stretch and catch back up.
Hey, what did I say? It's a grind.
As long as he gets like that, he's not.
Okay, but look at me. The only one I really took a chance on was App getting the upset over Texas State. I mean, I think a lot of people wouldn't have been surprised to hear that.
That's not a bad guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate my picks even after this weekend. Now, if somebody would have got Tully or like if James Madison would have swept 3-0, I would have looked like an idiot. But that didn't quite happen. So we'll see. But Seth and Marv are just crushing it. I mean, I think both of you the past 2 weeks have gotten 2 right out of 3, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So round of applause, fellas, gentlemen. Very, very, very good.
It's all luck. It's all luck.
Yeah. Well, look, at some point you have to be good to be lucky. So I do have one question here for you. I get this is a football question, I guess. Was Larry Fedora worth getting rid of Jeff Bowers?
Oh,
Jeff Bowers, maybe? Is that what it is?
Oh, good Lord, Captain America, you're bringing up some. With the Bowers thing, it was more of a lot of the old guard football fans were tired of the humdrum 75, the mediocre, which I get, and it was more involved with the Bauer thing, which I hate, but Fedora did take us to that next level.
Hey, Chad, was Blake Anderson with Fedora at Southern Miss?
Yes.
Was he?
Yeah. Yeah,
there's a name drop for you.
Yeah, when Feds left, we wanted a lot of the fans wanted Blake to be the head coach. They decided to go with he who must not be named, and set us back 100 years. A lot of them wanted Anderson as they wanted Blake as our head coach, and then we get rid of we paid 2.1 to get rid of what's his face. Monken comes in, and I had a friend that her son played on the team at that time, and he had a players only meeting when Monken was hired, and he basically said, they effed up and hired the wrong guy because I interviewed last year. They should have hired me last year, and we would have yada yada yada. And I really think that if Monk had come back his last year instead of going to Tampa, we'd have won the conference. So long answer short, yeah, in a way, yeah, because Monk got us back on that path to being successful. So, yeah, we suffered again, but such is the life of a Southern Miss football fan.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's all changing. I know that Southern Miss fans are just happy to be in a conference like the Sun Belt, though, and get out of that Conference USA crap that was going on.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think you'll find a Southern Miss fan who is upset about being in the Sun Belt. If they say they're upset, then they're just delusional. I think by being in the Sun Belt, it's been good for us as a fan base and as a team and as university as a whole, because now we're able to get that. We're going to get back on that winning path. I have no doubt with Will Hall. Now that he's got us, finally got us an OC, So I think that's what's been our bugaboo the last couple of years, but when he finally gave it up, we improved. But, I think this year with everybody they brought in, as far as quarterbacks, OCs, and DCs coming in, I think we'll be okay this year. I'm not going to say we'll win the conference, but I think we'll be much better than we have been in the past.
Nice.
So, yeah. But yeah.
Absolutely. Too historic of a program to not have a few successful years every once in a while and probably become, one of the favorites in the West every year here very shortly.
For sure.
As you already are with baseball, and that's not even an East-West. You're just up there at the top every year for that. So, Chad, where can people find you and follow along with you outside of this show here? And anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think it's Chad Dickens 4. They're on Twitter. Hit me up, DMs, questions, whatever, comments. Just don't call me any funny names. It'll be okay. But no, just thank you guys so much for allowing me to come on and talk and hang out with you guys. It's been a blast. I've had a lot of fun. Hopefully, when we play Coastal, we can get Coastal fan on, and we'll see what happens. And anytime you guys want to talk bourbon,
we've got our guy.
Yeah,
we can talk bourbon anytime you guys want.
Oh yeah, I love that. All right, Cajun's best Southern in a football game, 17-7. So that one's gone final there. I didn't expect him to lose that one, but pretty high scoring game there in that one. Marv, Seth, any last words before we get out of here tonight?
No,
Chad,
man.
I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it, Seth. Thank you, Marv.
Old man, good to find a long lost relative.
Absolutely.
Baseball podcast, and man, just happy conference play is here.
Oh, for sure. Me too. I think I'm gonna put it out here now. I think Coastal. I think Coastal takes the regular season title, and I think you'll see a Coastal and it's gonna hurt me to say this, but I think you're gonna see a Coastal and a Troy for the conference championship.
Wow.
I think Southern finishes third in the conference, and we still host a regional.
Wow.
Okay. I think you guys will be happy with that in the end. Not happy. I shouldn't say that. Content maybe is the word.
Content, yeah.
Because you guys did expect a step down because of the head coaching change and losing some guys that were really good last year.
Yeah.
So, content would probably be the right word. You always want to exceed. But, I mean, there's lots of teams in this conference that would be phenomenally ecstatic about a finish like that.
That'll be
Let us
finish third Coastal Regional. I'll be the happiest guy on the face of the earth.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll have y'all top 5.
Okay, there we go.
So, because I think if you're 5th in this conference, you don't host, but you get to go to a regional.
Yeah.
Yep. We saw it last year. Hopefully, we can replicate it. I think it'd be hard to sneak in 6, to be honest with you. I just don't know if they're going to give that type of respect, but 5 again would be phenomenal. I would love to see it. Louisiana did enough at the end of last season to sneak in there, and I think well-deserved, but they did have to prove themselves in the conference tournament in order to do it. So, phenomenal, guys. This was a blast. This probably one of my most fun shows across all the sports, the basketball, the football podcast, to put this together with the bourbon pairing and just have a good time with you guys tonight. Thank you, guys.
Good. Yeah, thank you for that pairing thing was awesome. Work on that.
Yeah. For tuning in, commenting, and if you're listening to this after the fact, get on the socials, share your bourbon flavors that you like and appreciate, and we'll let you know. All right. We will see you guys next week.